Hey, Craig.
Let's get into some coffee talk.
Hey, I love it. I love doing some coffee talk.
Well, talk about what?
Dogs, daughters, whatever. It's coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Boom!
Oh!
I did a fast one.
That was a fast boom.
That was a fast boom. Well, welcome, Dave Williams. I mean, do we even need an introduction at this point?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me again. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
I love it. We didn't know it might be the third or fourth interview, which is awesome. You always have giant knowledge nuggets dropped all over these episodes, so it's awesome to have you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Knowledge nugget machine gun.
Got my team hired mug over here.
Oh,
Perfect.
Look at
Oh,
that.
I like that.
I don't have a team hired mug.
I want one of those mugs.
Get one shipped out to you guys right away.
We'll get one for coffee talk.
Oh, we gonna use it on coffee talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Made up everything, all kinds of swag.
Well, when Dave's in the room, you know that there's going to be some hiring talk, and I think that of the four pillars, quite possibly the most important pillar is that hiring, right? Because if you don't have the right people on the bus, then the bus ain't going to go very far.
No, 100%.
Right.
Yeah. And
is now the right time to hire? I guess everybody's asking. Everybody's, some people are freezing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think this is the best time to hire. I've always found that there's great opportunity during times of adversity. While people are kind of, freezing up or maybe setting back, that's the time to, I think, really lean into your business. And what we're seeing out there is, believe it or not, I mean, there's no better time to hire. There's no more quality candidates we've ever seen out there than now. So we're seeing a much higher volume of resumes coming in, a lot more talent out in the marketplace, because unfortunately with just today's circumstances, there's a lot of people out there that have lost jobs. And I know it's the first tendency for somebody to do during times like this is try to freeze up and go into that, scale back mode. But, I think while everybody's doing that, it's now's the time to really grow your business. Because, there's a lot of people that have lost jobs. They're looking for opportunities out there, and you can come in there and be that hero that, takes them. Maybe they were at a job for 5 years and now they're just realizing that their job didn't have the stability and security that they once thought there were. And you can come in with the insurance industry and show them the strength and this great career opportunity of joining your agency and your team.
Love it. What would you tell someone that maybe is on the fence? I don't know if this is a good time to hire because I'm not necessarily in the office and I can't train them in person. I mean, where would you kind of guide someone in that has that thought process?
Actually, almost the same way. You got to look at that, flip the script. I think there's no better time, because I think it's safe to say that training is one of the big things that lack for a lot of, employees or new hires out there. And that's the sheer reason why they fail. So now's the time to slow it down and actually really take the time to dive in and train with that individual in there. So, I hear things all the time. How do I train them? How do I get them set up? How do I get them licensed with all the testing centers closed? Well, a lot of it can be done virtually now. So you get somebody first and foremost to get them licensed, put them on exam effects, and then create a study plan for them. So, what we tell people, hey, most people pass their license exam in 10 days. We're going to give you 14. So there's no excuse not to do it. And day one, you're going to study this, do this many practice quiz, and have a whole regimen that's planned out where they report out to somebody. And, by the time that they get that done, one would hope the testing centers are not. A lot of states are allowing and making exceptions, I think, to do it virtually. And if we're stuck in this place for a little while longer, I think more states are going to do that. But then, while they're waiting idle, it's a great time, I think, to pair them up with one of the best people in your organization. I always found iron sharpens iron. So there's no better thing to do than put somebody with the best person in your organization to study them and mentor with that individual. And the great thing about doing it virtually too is now you could just share the screen, pop somebody in, and they could listen to everything that's going on, and not just listening to a call, but they're seeing literally every move that they're making on the screen to learn from the best of the best during time. So I think there's tons of opportunity there to really get that person, trained up the right way. So when the door is open, they're really ready to go. And you know what, who knows, maybe your operation looks different by that point. Maybe you're operating 50% in the office and 50% virtually anyways. And if you can build up this muscle now while we have to, it's a great expansion point for your business to then even broaden the umbrella. Maybe you can hire somebody in a totally different state if you're in a challenging market right now and you've really got the whole virtual thing down, and you test out bringing somebody in from another state because there's so much talent in one state and not in your local area. And you can have a blend in your business.
Yeah, we have time on our hands now and the opportunity to develop a system that may be the way that things are run moving forward. I mean, it's huge. So we've gotten pretty good at it. I know Jason's gotten good at it, and certainly you've gotten good at it. How can people go and find out more about Team Hired, sign up, do all that kind of stuff? Is there an idea?
Yeah, so real easily. Anybody can always, I'll leave my cell phone open, even if somebody's not looking to necessarily invest right away in hiring services. We do make it so it's incredibly affordable. But, somebody can call my cell phone anytime, 585-317-1168. Our direct line in the Team Hired is
blow them up.
You're crazy. Blow them up, everybody.
Yeah, I'm happy to help. Even again, if you're not ready to be a paying customer, I just love, helping. So I'm happy to help in any way, shape, or form. You can visit our website too, teamhired.com. It'll have lots of testimonials of, people that have a lot of success. We probably got about 40 agents that have given us testimonials that we've gotten phenomenal results for across the country, including people that have experienced the whole virtual interview process. And, we can even arrange, if you wanted to, like jump in on one of our virtual interviews. I mean, we got plenty of customers that are open to that too, that wouldn't mind an extra helping hand to jump into that process, and you can kind of dip your toe in the water to see how things actually work. But love
I'll volunteer to go live when we do mine.
Okay.
If you want,
dude. So if you're listening to this and you've ever had trouble hiring and you've always wanted help and you don't do anything after this episode, you don't want to learn. Like Dave's literally giving you a ton of resources to do this. So just realize that you actually don't want to learn. So just say that out loud to yourself right now. I don't want to learn.
Because it's the thing that everybody complains about. But if it's something that you must do. Like if you're going to own a business, regardless of whether it's an insurance business, a marketing, but whatever it is, you must be looking for people constantly.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you just have a dying business. So,
and I was actually, I just had in my mastermind, I had an opportunity to talk with Andy Frisella. He came on one of our calls to talk to, and he's anybody follows him online, he's known as the MF CEO. He's a real big guy, built multi-million-dollar companies, and I had a chance to ask him what's the most important thing to him when it comes to hiring and building a team. And the biggest thing that he said was, he always, no matter what, will hire on character over talent all day long. He's looking for people that have the right character, and he will not compromise on that. And he's really got, his culture is so defined in his organization. It's like unshakable. He's got set expectations. They're high expectations that he expects for his team members and how they deliver for their customers. And he will not deviate from that. Somebody that can't live those expectations is out. He hires specifically to the character of the individual that they feel can really embrace that company culture over anything. And their philosophy is everything else can be taught. If you got the right person with the right character that can live your core values and work together with your team, the rest of it can be taught. And one of the best ways that he trained his individuals is, and he would have he always does a mentorship process in his business. So when that person comes in, he has a philosophy, every important position in his organization, that he's always got a second player, even if he doesn't need it, because you never know when you're going to lose that key person, any reason that comes up out of the blue. And if you're caught in this reactive state, trying to fill a role, especially an important role, if you think about that, from the point you lose the person, you got to find the replacement. That could be 3 months out. You got to train that person. That could be 6 months out. Yep. But while you have that talent, don't take for granted that you have that talent in your organization now, and pair somebody up and overstaff, have them with it, figure out a way to get that person to pay for themselves and have that talent teach other talent now. So if you have to promote that person or you do happen to lose somebody, you already have the backup in the wings. And, you know, those are a couple key fundamentals that resonated with me that he really operated by that allowed his organization to thrive.
So give us some nuggets. Like what are some, you'd mentioned the framework and the way that you guys were doing the interviews. Give us some nuggets on what are some tips and tricks in hiring that you guys have learned over this. You guys have been doing this, what, a year and a half now?
Yeah, it's been about right around a year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what are some things that those aha moments that maybe you guys had over the last year, like, oh, I didn't even think about that before doing this?
Yeah. So, you know, some of the value points there that we're seeing that's really successful, you know, there's several different things, but, you know, I think some of the important things, like one, when you're on the call with them, is bringing them in and really, again, like I talked about before, is, you know, telling the story. Because I think what a lot of people, you know, forget about sometimes is while the candidate has to sell themselves, like to you, if you find that right candidate, especially the higher the caliber the candidate gets, I think the more important this is that you're also selling yourself to them so they see this as a viable opportunity. When I see that not present and you find that time, they might have spent a month going through resume after resume, they finally find that great candidate. They're on the third interview, they make the job offer, and then they ghost them and they don't understand why. But more times than not, what we find is, you know, the candidate just didn't see the value in the career opportunity, and it's all in the presentation. So, you know, we think it's, you know, really important to really speak to that and talk about how it, you know, transform your life personally, whoever's doing the interviewing. And then, you know, another piece that I think is having a very competitive compensation structure. Making sure that the compensation structure is at least competitive and it's really simple. Because along with being competitive, I think having a really simple comp plan that they can understand, you know, that's another thing we found. Sometimes people have a competitive compensation structure, but then it's maybe 3 to 4 pages long. There's all these complexities to it, and you need like a decoder ring to try to figure out how you get paid. And I think,
I have some carriers that are like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like keeping it simple is our biggest recommendation. And then maybe lay out some examples. We're like, hey, if you come in and you just meet minimum expectations in my organization, this is what you can expect to make on an annual basis. If you come in and you're a mediocre performer, this is what you can expect to make on an annual basis. And if you come in and you're a rock star, this is what you can make. And then they can see it like, okay, great. If I'm in a worst case scenario, this is what I can expect to make. But if I'm the rock star, which I know I am, this is what I can make here. And then that gives the candidate the confidence in that, you know, compensation plan.
Thank you so much, Dave. That was
yeah, thank you.
Super awesome.
And get ready, your phone's gonna ring.
Yep.
Right.
Thanks so
All right,
much,
man. We'll see you for number 5.
All right, sounds good, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Hey, you've got to check out the Insurance Dudes Inner Circle coming soon, where you get extended interviews as well as live coffee talks in our private Facebook group. Join the mailing list today at theinsurancedudespodcast.com. Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.